Hi, everyone, and welcome to PA Podcast Episode 10. Special guest, friend, Chris Demari, and the commercial contractor of Montreal.
No. Demolition, asbestos removal, expertise. That's it. This is what we do.
Demolition. We're going to get into all the fun stuff. But you know what I want to talk about right now is the Bruins getting eliminated.
As you know,
Chris is a big Bruins fan, by the way. That's why I'm asking.
Montreal has my heart, but the Bruins are number 2 for me. So normally Montreal never makes they make our first round or they get kicked out before. So right now I had the Bruins, but they faced Florida. It was no go.
Well, tell me something, because between Habs and the Bruins, if we're going to hit the playoffs, who are you rooting for? You're on the spot right now, man.
So again, Habs have my heart, but I knew there was no chance, so I started rooting for the Bruins early on in the season. So that was it. That was my team. That was my team to go, but they had no chance against Florida. There was no chance against.
Well, this year,
Zero.
But historically, if I'm not mistaken, the Habs and the Bruins have met over 30 times in the playoffs.
That's right.
And the overwhelming majority of the time, as the underdogs, the Habs go in.
Yes.
And they beat the Bruins.
That's right.
Right? And we have this rivalry with the Bruins, too.
That's right.
And I love the rivalry, by the way. Now, to your point, Boston this year. I'm not a Boston fan by any stretch, but I'll tell you something. When they were playing the Maple Leafs, I was just happy to root for the Bruins. And the Habs are our team, like me and the boys, right? And, they're like, but Daddy, isn't Toronto a Canadian team? Yes, they are a Canadian team, but they are also the Montreal's rivals, right?
To put it nicely.
But more than Boston, right? Contrary to belief. That's my opinion, right?
I would say it's equal, but I think if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know how much I hate the Leafs. Every time they won, I played the Leafs goal song. I hate them. I can't stand them. There's something about it I can't.
I would laugh every time I'd see your stories, man.
My son, he wears Austin Matthews jersey. I gave him up for adoption last week, unfortunately. He's up for sale if anybody needs a 12-year-old.
I've got family in Toronto. They're Maple Leafs fans. I love them. But I feel you can't be in Montreal and actually be in any shape, way, or form rooting for Toronto. And the reason for this is because the MLSE, who owns the Maple Leafs, they own the Raptors, they own the Blue Jays. Years ago, when we had the Expos over here, they were the defining reason why we lost the Expos.
I had no idea of that, actually.
So they voted against Expos staying, obviously for their own reasons, because they didn't want to deal with that competition. Because they knew that if they push comes to shove, Montreal's going to have to take them out. But they won 92 or 93, I think.
Yes.
Right?
The Blue Jays, you're saying.
The Blue Jays. Yeah. But we lost a lot.
That's right.
Losing the Expos.
We did.
And for that reason, specifically, I cannot ever bring myself to actually root for Toronto. So for the people who are wondering why.
Yeah.
I think it's a good reason to know, because people are like, oh, well, it's a Canadian team. Sure, it's a Canadian team. But as a Montrealer, they went directly against what our purpose was as a city. And the city continued deteriorating afterwards. I mean, sure, we could always blame politics.
We're gonna need a lot longer podcast, I feel, if we're gonna go into this. So
and that stadium,
I had no idea of that, actually. I can't believe this.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And for that reason, I mean, Toronto fans are, well, why wouldn't you root for Toronto? Well, besides the fact that they lose every single time, right? They get to no matter what. Real chokers. So I can't respect that either. But the real reason at the end of the day...
There's nothing to respect about that team. They're not a respectable team. I'd rather go for the Coyotes than that. They're not a respectable team. I don't understand. To have that firepower and not be able to do anything, it's crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, even the upset with Montreal a couple of years ago during COVID. I mean, we came in as the last seed. We weren't even supposed to make those playoffs.
Yeah, but that's because of Carey Price in the back. That's why we made it.
Yeah.
You need a goalie. If you want to win a Stanley Cup, you need a goalie. No goalie, there's no cup.
I mean, the poor
There's
guy, he
just
tried. I mean, we made it to the finals.
We didn't do him right.
No, we
Last time he played with an 8-point player was Alex Kovalev. That was the last time. So think about how far back that goes.
didn't. Yeah,
That was the last time he had a superstar playing for him.
absolutely.
And they did him dirty after. So
100%.
Montreal has a reputation of that.
Well, that's the thing. What do you think this year it's going to change?
No, of course not. It's
But
never going
now
to
they're
change.
getting some pretty good players, right?
We'll see.
We'll see.
15-year season ticket holder. Disappointed the last 15 years.
I just yesterday got a call for my season tickets,
And
right? So finally, I'm going to be getting them this year.
oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome
I've been,
to dropping $20,000.
3 years I've been waiting for these freaking things.
You're lucky. I had to wait 6 for mine before.
Yeah, because the Habs were better back then.
Bah, of course.
Yeah, now, I mean, but I feel like I'm getting it at the right time. I mean, the next year or two, I think
It's a rebuild year. It's a rebuild.
It's a
Every
rebuild year.
It's only 20 years of rebuild year. Gonna keep going.
I mean, we still remain the last Canadian team to have won the Stanley Cup.
Yes, very true.
Right, so it's a little bittersweet right now when I'm rooting for Edmonton because they are a Canadian team. But
McDavid needs it. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Absolutely. Did you see the game yesterday?
I watched a bit of it, and then unfortunately, I'm sad to say I fell asleep. Embarrassed to say I fell asleep.
same thing happened to me. They were at a 4-2 lead when I fell asleep. Though.
That's it. Exactly.
Right.
I felt it was done.
2-2 series tie. Who's going to take it?
My heart, and I just had this conversation with he's actually a scout for the NHL, and we were talking about it, and I said my heart wants Edmonton, but I really feel the Stars are going to take it.
Yeah. I mean,
My brain says if I had to put a bet, my money's on Dallas.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, I've always been an underdog guy, right? So we'll see. I'm not saying Edmonton is their underdogs per se, but against Dallas, I mean, Dallas is a strong team,
This is what I'm saying.
right?
My heart wants to see McDavid raise the cup,
Yeah.
but my brain knows that
Yeah.
it's going to be It's going to be Dallas. That's the thing. So
We were talking about the Expos before.
yeah,
We no longer have the
No.
Expos,
No, we
right?
do not.
Unfortunately. So this has created a lot of consequences. Now, in recent news, right? Now we're gonna touch up a little bit about what you do.
yeah.
I heard, I was reading that they're going to put a new roof on the Olympic Stadium.
Now okay, go.
$870 million for a fucking roof. I'm sorry.
With a 10% contingency, because they always have, when they do this work, there's always a 10% contingency in case shit happens.
So
Okay?
$1 billion.
So let's call it a cool bill said and done.
And then they say, we have to do this because demolishing
This
would
is not
cost $2 billion. Now we have the demolishing king of Montreal over here.
No, not the king. Let's
All right.
let's not go there. There's a few other guys bigger than me. We're not going to go there, but yes.
I want to hear it. I will call you the king. All right?
You could call me.
All right? I want to hear it from the demolition king. Does it cost fucking $2 billion to demolish the Olympic Stadium?
I wish I was told about this. We're winging all of this, by the way, because I actually I put my estimators on it.
Yeah.
We found out the quantity of concrete to take out. We found out everything. I did a rough estimate. I put 2 estimators on it for 2 days. I said, I just want to see my curiosity how they got to 800. What did they say it was to bet?
$870 million.
No, to demo.
Oh, to demo $2 billion.
2 billion to demo. So I think in dump of concrete waste, there was, I think it was $50 million of concrete. Okay, and this is not recycling. So
Okay.
if you, and I don't have to tell any of my demolition friends, my competitors, my whatever, they know how to do this. They're gonna take it. They're gonna crush the concrete. They're gonna make basically recycled concrete, and they're gonna sell it back to people at $8 a ton. Okay. That thing is all concrete. Yes, there's a bit of asbestos, but they had a fire recently, a huge fire inside there.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
recently, so all the asbestos now is going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay, at the cost of intact insurance.
Okay, so
there's 70 guys in there right now, I know for a fact, that are working full time around the clock to clean it out because there was a massive fire inside there. Okay.
well, what a timing. I'm not.
Look,
I'm
not
not
a
saying
conspiracy
anything,
theorist, but you know.
But what timing to have a fire, right?
So now that's gonna be done in June. That being said, Asbestos for the most part is going to be pretty much done.
So tell me, Demstos right now gets the contract.
I think we evaluated it for 450 million, or let's call it, I think it was 450 or 500 million dollars
to demolish.
Now, you're in real estate, I'm not in real estate. How fast can you sell that property for?
Like that.
How fast? If you went to any of these big guys, Broccolini, anybody, Sam Con, anybody, they say, listen,
Yeah.
Olympic Stadium,
Yeah.
everything that goes, you got to clear it, rebuild.
Well, it's a trophy asset. That's the thing.
A trophy?
Yeah.
What trophy is that? There's not a trophy. It's an atrocity is what it is, okay?
Well, but people will still want to try and do something with it, right?
The acoustics suck.
Okay.
Okay, the acoustics suck. Now they're gonna do a new roof. Even if they do a new roof, the acoustics are still gonna be shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the last one that went there? I think it was U2 or Metallica.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Whatever it was. Okay. It was horrible. People were freaking out. They couldn't hear. It's such a shithole. This thing needs to be brought down to the floor, and that's it. Sell it to developers. Take the money from that. Go build. You know how many? You could have sold that for $2-3 billion, that land and everything around there, to any developer would buy that, hands down. Eyes closed, done, sold. Write the check tomorrow morning. Take that. You have 15 not 15, but like let's say 5 refineries, decommissioned, decontaminated, ready to go, ready to build on in Pointe Notre Dame. How many apartments can you build with that money?
Yeah, the shitload.
Okay.
Yeah.
At three stories, all wood construction.
Yeah.
So it's cheap. How many 4.5s can you build with $3 billion? Okay?
Yeah.
There's campuses downtown of low-income housing that developers would love to have.
And right now we have a housing crisis. So you're not wrong. But this is my big frustration with Quebec every single time.
It makes no sense.
Because they don't even use it for the right purposes. You know what my frustration is with the Olympic Stadium? Let me tell you. So a couple of years ago when they were doing the bid for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Quebec and the city of Montreal, they're like, well, we can't. It's too much of an investment for us to make to bring in just for the World Cup, which is arguably the biggest sports event of the world.
Yes, of the world.
Okay. So we have had less and less of tourism over the past couple of years. Thank God that we still have F1, which incidentally Quebec recently was saying they're revisiting whether or not they want to host it.
They're talking about Toronto now. They want Toronto. It needs to go to Toronto.
It's become ridiculous how Montreal in the last 50 years has just crumbled.
It's a joke.
And now the argument to make this billion-dollar roof is, well, we want to bring more events in. Well, why didn't you say that a couple of years ago so you can make the investment and bring teams over here for the World Cup, increase your tourism, increase your economy as a provincial, for your provincial economy, and now they're like, well, we're going to spend this and we don't have the World Cup.
But that's a Band-Aid fix, though. Let's be honest. It's a Band-Aid. So it's only for a short amount of time. That's not going to fix the tourism problem.
Well, you're right. But it's a Band-Aid fix if it's only specific to that.
And the promoters don't want that venue for any. So now concerts are ruled out because you can't fix the acoustics of that. Okay. It's like playing in a toilet bowl.
But they're saying that they're going to fix it.
How are they going to fix acoustics when it's round? It's done. You can't fix the acoustics in there.
So then what are we spending $1 billion for?
Okay.
For a roof.
So they're going to, again, it's going to be a temporary solution. If we do this, maybe it'll change. Okay. So again, I don't understand. Soccer, Saputo has its stadium.
Right.
Okay. Alouettes, they're never going to sell. How many does that hold? 50,000?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I've never been to an Alouettes game. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. So right. Even the Alouettes will never sell that out.
Yeah.
Concerts are done. They'd rather have it outside the Olympic Stadium, which they do. Okay. Fuego was where? Outside.
Yeah.
They didn't even have, they literally in the parking lot of the Olympic Stadium and not in the Olympic Stadium.
Right.
Other than monster trucks, what else works there?
Yeah. Look,
And baseball, it's in the. You can't have it there. You can't have it there.
well, I
It'll
mean, if
never
an
work.
argument was made,
Yeah.
like this is my thing, right? If an argument was made to say I'm going to spend $1 billion to revamp this,
Yeah.
and in parallel bring in investors to bring back the expos. The expos, I was reading that to bring back the expos, it's going to cost close to $2 to $2.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You're already spending $1 billion. To your point, demolishing would be $2 billion. So why not actually parallel these two, right? But why wouldn't the expos work there?
It's too far out. It's half an hour of downtown with no traffic.
Yeah.
It's far. In the West Island, you're going to drive. Now, put everything out on paper now. You live in the West Island, okay? Let's say, I'm just talking about the West Island people, okay? So West Island population, it'll take minimum an hour. Think about all the road closures that there always is, because we don't know how to... On connaît pas comment gérer construction à Montréal. That's 100%, okay? Let's open up everything everywhere right away.
Yeah.
Piss everybody off all
Yeah.
summer long.
Yeah.
Let's close down businesses. Let's open up St. Catherine, tear down St. Laurent, destroy everything, wash our hands and say, okay, we'll see you next year. We're going to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay? So...
Why is that? I mean, you're an expert, in these things, right? Is the asphalt that we're using over here the right asphalt for Quebec?
I don't think it's an asphalt problem. I think it's all Band-Aid solutions. It's all Band-Aid fixes.
Right.
It's never getting down to the root of the problem and re-putting it back.
Right.
I love the Ville Montreal. You're my best customer. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you. You're the best, City of Laval.
I think it's a little too late for that.
Valerie Plante for mayor. So, this is what it is. We don't know. On connaît pas comment gérer construction. We just open up everything. It's like as if like the guy sitting at the cubicle in front of they don't talk. Okay, we're gonna open up Drummond. We're gonna open up St. Catherine all before Grand Prix, and then we're gonna shut it down.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 weeks of construction holidays, and so everything shuts down. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, why not to have construction holiday? A little later in the year. Doesn't that make more sense?
Look,
smack in the middle of summer.
Or let's not be Gestapo here and let the companies choose like you. Everybody does it in the rest of the world. Let them choose like vacations when people to manage their own vacations, their own staff. Why does it have to be a full shutdown all the time?
Yeah, you're right.
That being said,
Obviously.
it's a double-edged sword.
Okay,
because
so tell me.
as a business owner, I get to shut down and close my phone for 2 weeks. As a construction owner,
Yeah. We need this for real estate.
so I get to calm down, relax,
Yeah.
decompress, and
never
then
get to
come
calm
back to
down.
the mess. You know.
Right.
So this is another thing.
I mean, yeah, but you could have that maybe later, right? That's what
I'll
I'm
never
trying.
have that. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I don't even see myself retiring. They never, let alone taking vacations.
Well, I think
My wife would kill me if there was no vacation. Like zero. Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, so if that's the case, then what? We're just throwing $1 billion in the garbage, basically.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's taxpayers' money.
That's taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
We have to get one thing straight. Living on island is not a necessity. It's not a right or privilege. It's those who work hard get to live on island.
Yeah.
Okay? I wanted my parents would have loved to live in Westmount. They don't throw their arms up in the air and say, "Well, I wanted to. It's not fair that these people get to live in Westmount." And no, it's you work hard, you do what you have to do. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Living on island it's not a right. It's a privilege. It's for those who work and can afford, and whatever the case is. Call me a douchebag, call me whatever you want, but that's what it is. Okay? Chateauguay, there's affordable housing there.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes to get onto the island.
Oh God! Now we're gonna hear it from the Montérégie people over here, right?
like Verver pas, this is what it is. Chateauguay, like all these places, St. Constant, they're very close.
Yeah.
Toronto, the GTA is now at Pickering. Pickering,
Yeah.
okay, is the GTA. People have no problem with living 45, 50 minutes away. Okay? And you don't see people up in arms that there's a housing crisis in Toronto.
No,
Okay? Nothing's affordable in Toronto.
nothing's affordable.
An apple is $10. It was $10 the apple. I go, I can't believe I'm paying an apple $10 right now. Okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It was a Honeycrisp, but still.
I mean, you left that part out.
Okay, so that's what. But Okay.
Well, it's true. Look, I mean, to your point, right? Like, you're always going to pay more to be on island. It's normal. You have all kinds of demographics all over the city, right? So there's a city, and then there is specific nooks, right? So, Blainville, the Fontainebleau area, right? Very specific people
Beautiful
want
area,
to
by the
be
way.
there.
Exactly.
Right. Rosemère, people want to be there. But if you're gonna, I was about to say something, but I can't say certain
It's
things.
his podcast, not my podcast. I don't care about views. No, I'm joking.
Certain areas, obviously, it's an affordability thing, right? And obviously, you're gonna get what you pay for. Now, there's an argument to be made. Like, there are a lot of hard workers out there who are just not paid enough. Call it that it's the system. Call it that, I don't know. Maybe they're not working smart. Maybe, but they're working hard, right? And then they're forced to be in a certain situation. Our economy, right, has crumbled. Let's just call a spade too, right? Which is also what is really interesting about this roof situation. Because a couple of years ago, they didn't want to make the investment at the height of the economy. And now the economy is crumbling, we're going to spend $1 billion on a roof. Right? The timing is suspect. But you know what? If we're not going to spend $1 billion there, let's just call it the demolition. Which, by the way, have you done the demolition cost? You said $450 million.
I think it was at 450. I think it was there. Don't quote me, but like
I know you're not a roofer, but
that's it. I don't want to see in the comments. I did it. Like like I did an estimate, and I think this was months back, and I think it was at 450 million, somewhere around there.
And the roof
with the amount of concrete that there was to dispose, because this was their big thing,
Right.
and they were measuring it at $50 a ton in the newspaper. Concrete is at $18 a ton. If you don't even recycle it, if you recycle it, you make money off of it.
Yeah.
So.
Who has the contract? Do you know?
There's no to demo the roof.
Yeah.
No, to demo the stadium. No. We were just discussing to do a quote to demo the whole stadium.
Yeah. Okay.
The roof, I don't touch. I don't know anything about that. Those.
But
costs.
if you had to, I think you're going to have a more educated guess than I would.
No, I have no idea. I'm not even going there. I'm not even touching that.
Come on.
I'm not a roofer. I don't even demolish roofs. I fell off a roof. I hate roofs. We're not going there. So.
I find $870 million to $1 billion for a roof is ludicrous.
Look, the thing that differentiates us to the rest of the world is we have a beautiful thing called the CCQ. So the CCQ, and a guy sweeping the floor, the CCQ, costs an employer and then costs the client. How much would you think? Sweeping the floor.
Sweeping the floor?
Just sweeping the floor. He's not allowed to do anything else but sweep the floor.
Per hour?
Per hour.
I don't know, $25.
$60 an hour. 64, I could get you the exact number, but I think the actual cost with all fringe benefits is $64 an hour. So he's not allowed to touch a measuring tape. Now, okay, you do 300 hours, now you get your manœuvre spécialisée. Then you jump up, now they just got an increase of 5%, so it goes up to $68 an hour. That's the cost. That's what it costs the government. The same job, 45 minutes away, is $27 an hour. 30. Let's say even like if you're super skilled and you're worth it 35. This is where the extra costs lie. This is what it is. It's the manpower. It's the labor.
So it's all just bureaucracy. Realistically, that's why everyone's paying what they're paying.
I'm not gonna get into what my theory.
I want
of all
you to
of
get
this,
into it.
I'm not gonna get into my theory of why all of this is. Construction workers in Quebec are well paid. They're well paid and they work extremely hard.
I'm not discounting
They
that.
work extremely hard. I see it. I see my guys. They work extremely hard. I can't say that. There's there's a lot of them that do not. That drive me nuts. Hence why I have no more hair. I pulled everything out. Okay, it's like a fucking daycare. This guy, I don't want to work with him. I don't want to work with him. Don't come in. But we run a tight crew. I have 40 employees. I could very easily have 120, but they would be shit. So I have 40 superstars, and that's what I run on.
So you have a niche, and you're sticking to it.
That's it. I charge what I charge, but when I give a time frame, I give a time. When I give
done.
a delay, it's done. It's done. It's done days before then, because I know.
I have a lot of respect for people in construction.
Okay.
Right, and especially people who are managing construction workers. Because
thank you. We're saints.
I swear.
We're saints.
You know, I did this last renovation that we did at our house. Oh my God! You could ask my wife. Like, I aged 20 years.
It's crazy.
I'm not even lying to you. Like, that year was so ridiculous. Thank God I had finished just in time for COVID.
Yeah.
You know, when I finished, I got shingles.
Oof.
Right? Like, the amount of stress I had to go through and the way these... and everyone's
People
blaming
get
everyone.
divorced, during a renovation. It's true. It's true.
Well, you know what? My wife was pregnant. Sorry, my wife... Was she pregnant?
This is why I don't do renovations, by the way.
Yeah.
For this reason.
For that reason. Though
I can't stand people.
You know, I had passed by your house when he was actually coaching my son for hockey, by the way. So, you know, I had passed by your house and I know you renovated that thing.
All the outside is done. The inside is done too, yeah.
Right? So, but obviously you're in the business. I think that you have a better grasp on these things. I had done 2 projects beforehand, much smaller. So I figured, okay, well, this is, 2 or 3 times the size. It's 2 or 3 times the work. No.
It's not.
It was exponential.
Nothing works.
At a certain point, my wife came in. She broke down in tears. Yeah. She's like, "What did you do to the house?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Like, deep down, I'm dying."
It's okay. It'll be fine.
Deep down, I'm dying. I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm going to do.
Became very religious at that
point. God, please. I remember there was one night specifically. I came back, and I was just sweeping because I'm like, these fucking people are not going to do anything. But like I said, the plumber was blaming the electrician. The electrician was blaming everybody.
That's it.
Right? And I was just, at a certain point, we had opened up walls. You had to restructure. They put LVLs in, and the guy, that had done that, I told him, I said, okay, well, where are the bolts? You don't need them. Right? And look, it was my buddy who referred me to him. But
you don't need the lag screws on the LVLs?
Right? The bolts. And I'm like, but what do you mean?
What, does he just have it just sitting there?
Yeah, he just had like 3 LVLs sitting there. He's like, no, we don't need them. I'm like, dude, I think you need them. Right? I'm like, I'm no expert here, but I'm pretty sure you need them. Right? And I had done my own, I had seen this being in the business too. Then he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So he does that. I'm like, okay, and where are the L brackets? I don't need it. There's enough weight supporting it. I'm like, but dude, it's open. Let's just put the fucking L brackets.
That's it, exactly.
Right?
It's amazing.
Like,
I love hearing these stories, by the way.
And I should not be the one telling you this. Now, and I'm not like an expert, right? I've seen it. But now, how many of people who are doing renovations who don't know, like, the work is bastardized often. And I'm just...
You put it so eloquently and nicely that... But buddy just bought a house, TMR. I'm going to leave him nameless, poor guy. Starts off as a minor renovation. He goes, I need you to demo a few walls.
Always starts off and like that.
It was a strip. I walked in there, I'm like, dude, this house is brand new. Why are you stripping? But it's like, I want certain things. Just demo a bit here, demo a bit there. Start a kitchen, whatever the case is. As we keep going, to find a bit more. How come there's a half a brick wall here? What's supporting this house? It was like a U. It was like 4 blocks. It was crazy. Keep going. He ended up taking out the whole first floor, trusses, everything. All that was left of this thing was the roof and like 4 walls and with the foundation. That was it. We literally took out everything and he put everything back. He's probably at $1 million, this poor guy.
Oh my God.
Like, I just see it in flips especially. Like, it's just wrapping paper. That's all that it is. Like, underneath, you have no idea what it is.
Flipping in Quebec, by the way. Right? I'm going to say this. Because so many people come to see me for this.
Yeah.
Flipping homes is not what it looks like. And it's often not as viable as people think.
So, not just that, but when you flip a home, you flip a home to do what? Why are you flipping a home?
Yeah, for profit.
For profit, right? This is profitable to add 4 extra LVLs at $1,500 a shot, or you want to keep the $6,000?
Yeah.
A lot of times, $6,000 is 1-2%, 1%, 2% of your build, or whatever the case is. It adds up. You're going to make that 10-15% only.
Well, not only that, I always tell my buyers, when you're buying a flip, you really got to be careful. Because, to your point, we're trying to maximize profit.
Exactly.
Are they really going to go into the intricacies that are necessary, such as bolts on an LVL?
That's it.
L brackets. It's little things, but they're things.
It has to be done time.
Yeah.
So Time is a matter when you're flipping, right? And at cost. These are the two number one things.
Absolutely.
So when time is of the essence and cost is of the essence, let's go, close the walls, let's go. It doesn't matter. It's okay. The next guy's gonna worry about it. Let's go.
Exactly.
And the last 3 years, how many had what's it called, clauses, sight unseen, no guarantees, or whatever the case is.
100%.
So buyers now have no legal recourse over anybody, and they bought flips or because it looked nice. It has nice 12 by 12 ceramic, nice 24 by 24. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Underneath, what's underneath there?
What's underneath? Exactly.
Instead of putting a 3/4 plywood, they put a chipboard, a Masonite, whatever the case is, at a 1/2 inch. A little bit of water, the thing's gonna go like a sponge.
But do you do residential
Absolutely
also?
not.
No, you don't. You did it for your buddy.
No, I did
The
it.
nameless guy.
I did it for my buddy because I don't want to hear people like when
Yeah.
you're dealing with hospital. It's not their place. It's not. It's different. It's different. I also have like our system is very big because we work in hospitals. Very strict. So there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
I can't bring this into a house, and I can't tell my guys, okay, let's tone it down a bit now because we're in a house or whatever the case is, you know. So there's a lot of like paperwork that we have, and that's
It's a different world too.
Completely different.
It's a different world. You're dealing with companies. I mean, I'm sure there's headaches with companies too, but I feel like it might not be as petty, right? Like,
So
for lack of a better word.
when you're dealing with office space, and all these people in your office here,
Yeah.
they're counting the hours to get the fuck home. They
Yeah.
don't care about a shadow on a piece of gibrock or whatever the case is, right?
No.
But when you're at home relaxing and you're watching TV and you're staring and you're like, fuck, that screw's coming out. 9:30 at night, there's a screw coming out. I don't want to have that.
No, of
Fuck, there's a
course
paint mark. I don't want to have that. I want to be
Yeah.
at home. I want to have peace. I'm not going to get that.
Well, I deal with these things in residential real estate sometimes where, they come in, they're like, well, I just saw that, part of this baseboard is a little bit chipped,
That's
right,
it.
or whatever. I'm like, I understand. Well, like, this is the reality too. When you're buying a home, right, we don't have, like, the brand new constructions aside, which, incidentally, brand new constructions are not very well done, I'm going to say for the record.
It's all contractor. It's all contractor stuff.
It's quick.
Masonite doors. It's very quick.
How come we still have, they have their issues, but like their 150-year-old properties in Westmount, they're still standing and they're quite solid, right?
For the most part.
I mean,
A lot of that. There was a lot of cheating back in the day.
You've got the Vente
From my
Beef.
paisans. They were cheated. Every time I open up, it's like, Chris d'Italien. I laugh. A lot of it I laugh.
What's you're talking about Italians, and it's interesting to me with the Bruins. Actually, I'm gonna just do a tangent here, but why is it that all the Italians are Bruins fans? I'm trying to figure this out.
I really have no idea, honestly. Like, especially if you go to Saint Leonard, it's crazy how many Bruins fans there are. It's nuts. Majority of my friends from Saint Leonard are all Bruins fans.
I'm trying to figure this out.
I have no idea why. Zero. I'm trying to figure it out. I have zero idea why. It's like a staple. If you're born in Saint Leonard, you have to be a Bruins fan.
But I think you're also the exception because a lot of the Bruins fans I know are diehard Bruins fans. They won't take the Habs over the Bruins, even in Montreal.
So I'm a hockey fan first and foremost. Habs are my team, but the second place is always is the Bruins.
You know what my issue is with the Bruins? Really, right? It's not so much of a Bruins issue so much as it is a Marchand issue.
Yeah.
He's the player you love to hate.
He's the player that you would take if he was on your team. You would fucking love him. Okay?
Maybe.
You would love. I would love to have that guy in the Canadians. I would love to have. I don't know if the
Canadians would take him.
I would fucking love to have Torts as a coach. Give me Torts and give me Marchand over.
Yeah.
The paper's gonna have nothing to fucking write about because he's gonna tell them all the fuck to get the fuck out of here. He's gonna say, "You get the fuck out. You get the fuck out." Okay.
It would never work though. Torts doesn't speak French.
Again, I love the Quebec. You're my favorite client. Okay. So,
well, we gotta be politically correct. Is that it?
So, but this is what I don't understand. The government has translators. This is another thing. Yes, I understand the French. It's very big, but we're penalizing ourselves. We're in reruns of coaches.
Oh yeah.
But Marty St. Louis, honestly, is amazing. What a coach. What a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm at Marcus. Funny story with this guy. I'm at Marcus. I'm sitting there. It's Marty St. Louis, fucking coach of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
Walks in. He goes to the line, back of the line. So I go to the bouncer. I go, because I was just there. I was getting my jacket about to leave. So he didn't let him in. So I go, You know that's the coach of Montreal Canadiens. He goes, oh shit. He goes to get him, he goes to grab him, he lets him in after. He did it. Goes inside. Nicest guy in the fucking world. Eh? He didn't even say anything. He was waiting in line like this. He goes inside after. I'm laughing. I had to go inside to tell my friend something. Again, I see him at the bar. I don't know if you've ever been to Marcus, but there's a round bar.
Yeah.
There's the entrance to the VIP over here. So he goes, I didn't see who he was with. He goes with some other guy to go in. He goes, refused. I'm dying of laughter. He took it like a champ. He went on the wall. He had his drink. That's it. Zero.
And he didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. I was dying. I was dying of laughter. I couldn't believe it.
He was a gentleman.
Honestly, class act.
Yeah.
Class act.
Well, that's surprising. I mean, how do you not know who Marty St. Louis is? Right?
If you're not a hockey fan,
I mean, who doesn't know hockey in Montreal?
I know, but some of these guys, they don't. I was dying a lot. So he's good. He's friends with the owner. He didn't even go see him. He didn't give him a call. Like, he wanted to go in the VIP, not to be around. He stayed in the thousands of other people. Like, not 500 people, but he just stayed there and he just chilled out. He did his thing.
Yeah. No, look, but
numbers are a bit exaggerated.
Yeah. But politics here, obviously, so it's always become an issue. I mean, again, I am all for the French language, right? That's the first thing. Like, my kids, I've been to French school my whole life. My kids go to French school.
As you know, mine too.
Right?
Yeah.
No problem. Why is it that in Ontario, let's say, like, there's very French areas, and they're able to actually commit to the bilingual setup? And you know what? I've had this conversation with different people, with people who are sovereignists, right? I'm not going to say separatists because I know that they don't like us to say that. Right, but les souverainistes, all right, let's just call them that. And I tell them, like, the federal government has been just as influenced by French Canada than English Canada, right? The longest consecutive prime minister in Canada was who? Do you know?
I would go with Charest almost.
Consecutive, right? Now, not the longest serving necessarily.
Not Chrétien.
Wilfrid Laurier. We're talking like 100 years ago, right? This is at a time where, like, let's say the French...
History was not, or geography was not my strong point in school.
Right, no. But, like, I delved into this because I was curious. I'm like, has there really been a fundamental issue? I understand that in Montreal at a certain point, because Montreal became Montreal. This was the city to be in 50 years ago, right? My parents immigrated here to go to university when they were 15, 16 years old. Right, this is back in the day, and this is where Montreal was like Montreal.
That's it, exactly.
And I understand Montreal is just a city, one city in Quebec. I get it. But it's also the powerhouse of the province.
Of the province, yes.
Of the province.
Used to be the country.
Used to be the country. Right, now the financial capital of Canada has run to Toronto. It's sad that even Bank of Montreal's headquarters are in Toronto right now. And now we have to ask ourselves, where are we going with all this? Do we want investment in Quebec? Do we want growth in Quebec? And at a certain point, now they're making these, moves, $1 billion roof that we know about. Why? Well, if you want to increase tourism, if you want to increase businesses, there's better ways to invest $1 billion.
100%.
So where would you take this stadium? Now, you're telling me that that's not the right place. Where would you take the stadium? Let's say the Expo. Let's wishful thinking, people.
This is wishful thinking?
Yeah, wishful thinking. Expos are back.
Turcotte Yards.
Turcotte, I don't even know where that is.
So it's right driving into the city. It's where the 15, the 15 and the 20 meet.
Okay, yeah.
Where they're carrying the 20 meters, where the Turcotte Yards, right there. If you could give me the ideal space and make it work there. Imagine driving into the city. You're driving in. You're overlooking big lights, right? Because at some point it goes up, right? So you see the stadium. I think there's enough room, but I don't know. Anyways, that would be my ideal space.
Are we ever going to get the Expos back?
No.
No?
We don't have the market for it. Who's going to set up $2 billion to lose $2 billion?
Well,
there's no money for it.
We're spending $1 billion on the roof.
We're going to get an MBA. So I have some friends that are very close to and connected inside the NBA. We're supposed to be getting an NBA team within the next 5 years.
Montreal.
Yeah.
See, this is good news.
This is what I heard. This is what they're working on. Again, don't quote me on this, but this is what I heard. Yeah,
I mean,
from a very reliable source. Very reliable.
That's a bold statement, my friend.
Very reliable.
Right?
Very reliable.
And again, I'm having this problem because, as you know, our kids are in sports.
But it's all over it was all over the news also.
I mean, I heard something, but I'm like, it's just one more rumor.
Basketball is up and coming. And at the same time, they could have it at the Bell Center. They don't need to build any real estate for it.
So we're going to have a basketball team before we bring the Expos. Man. Look, I've never gotten into it. My kids
Did you ever go to a game?
No, I've never been to a game.
Oh, never been to a game then?
So Darian wants to go.
Yeah.
But again, I can't bring myself to go to the Raptors.
Yeah.
Because they're owned by the MLSE.
Okay, for that, yes, okay, I get it. We went to a Miami, I took the kids to a Miami Heat game. It was off the hook. Sick. It was amazing.
Okay, Miami Heat, fine.
What a vibe it was in there.
The Knicks, okay.
Yeah.
Right? But again, to go to root for the Raptors, it's tough.
I don't know, I'm okay to root for the Raptors.
Well, dude, we got to go back to the history of this.
I'm okay to root for the Raptors.
We have lost the Expos due to the MLSE who owns the Raptors. We have to put this in perspective as a Montrealer. I understand they're a Canadian team.
But it's not about the Canadian team. I just feel it's I don't know.
Somebody who hates the Maple Leafs so much.
I hate the Maple Leafs. Despise them.
It's the same ownership.
Despise them. If they would leave the NHL, I would have no sympathy. I would be like, I would play their goal or song. Like in the morning. It would be on.
Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen because despite the fact that they keep losing, I mean, they have a very strong, albeit obnoxious fan base, with the exception of my family.
But they hate Montreal just as much.
I love my family in Toronto, with the exception of you guys, all right? But I find that they have an obnoxious fan base.
I don't even listen to them. I don't even listen to them.
But that's a big thing, and then look, we'll see. I mean, they've been at an upset for, I think it's since 67.
Losers since 67. I made a T-shirt.
Wasn't that the year that we started the Expo?
I wasn't alive then. I don't remember. Yeah, it was Expo 67.
Expo 67.
Actually, I just found a license plate from a demo of that, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was actually a pretty cool license plate.
Expo 67.
Yeah. It says Confederation 67. It was a cool license plate.
You know what? I think we probably cast a spell on Toronto back then. Right?
That was
Fuck you guys, but I think that we're the ones who got the short end of the stick in the end. Yeah. Oh, my God. So tell me something. Now, you know what? We've really gone off. We've hardly spoken. Completely.
It's not even the Puria podcast. It's political. No.
We just went. We're just the PA podcast.
The PA podcast. Right? There we go.
Puria's.
Live.
Don't do it.
Live.
Don't fucking do it.
These were on special at HomeSense, I feel. You got this. Buy 12 and get a free sign. I had no choice.
Oh, God.
You can't give that to me.
It was a mistake. Come on. God, I get this every time. Yeah. Oh, God. Well, John, you're the one who does the edits, man. I don't know what to tell you, but fuck. That was a mistake. That was a real mistake, all right? It was at a time, look, it was COVID. My brain wasn't thinking. I had shingles.
It was the renovation. It
was all the construction workers, man. That's what happened to me.
Exactly.
So now I know a little bit more. So I really wasn't totally sure what you do. So I guess now it's demos, asbestos removal, purely for commercial.
Purely only hospital, school. Look, 99% of my work is hospital, schools, commercial property.
How does somebody go about wanting to open this type of business? I want to go into demo and asbestos removal.
Why would you want to kill yourself for
asbestos removal?
Honestly, it's a lot of trial and error. I'm not gonna say a lot of trial and error. I know what I'm doing. At the beginning, it was just trying to find the right recipes. You always have to follow there's les normes de la CNSST.
Yeah.
So you have to follow those laws. It's the law. Right, and then you have to get training. Sadly, the training is only 4 hours. Imagine to remove asbestos removal. So it's at the beginning when you're starting, you're trying to hire people. It's you're trying to get the right staff. You're trying to find the right talent. It's very specialized. A lot could go wrong very fast, right? So at the beginning, when I started in 2009, I was on site all the time, making sure there was no holes, there was no gaps, the pressure was good, because you have to. So that's it. But first and foremost, you need your RBQ, and then after that, you can go.
Sure, but how did you decide to specialize in this? Like, did you do other things before you did asbestos removal and demolitions purely? Because I know that's your...
I briefly worked for a competitor, and then afterwards, I went to go work for my father-in-law in 2008. He shut down.
Okay.
He ended up closing down, and then I just ended up going on my own, and then that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You worked for your father-in-law before he was your father-in-law, or
I worked for my father-in-law before he was my father-in-law.
is that how you met your wife?
No, I had a cafe in Saint Leonard, and that's where I met her.
Are you from Saint Leonard?
No, I'm not from Saint Leonard. I'm from Villamard, and then we moved to the West Island.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And so,
Okay, so you're not a Western.
proud Villamard boy.
You're a Villamard
Original. That's it.
All right, but you had a place in Saint Leonard. You had a...
We did live in Saint Leonard for a little bit, and then after that we came, and then I had the cafe in Saint Leonard also. When we got married, we lived in Saint Leonard, and then we came back to the West Island.
So now you're a West Islander.
And now I'm a West
Now
Islander.
you're a West Islander,
That's
and
it.
now you're coaching hockey teams.
Exactly. Everything takes a turn somehow.
You know, you were somewhat my inspiration, I'm going to say, right?
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So when you started to coach, Daniel's team,
Yeah.
I look at my wife, I'm like, maybe I should start hockey again. 20 years I was off the ice.
Wow.
20 years, okay? Maybe I should start this again. So in January of that year, because, it had started, now we're talking 2 years ago, I think,
Yeah.
right? So basically last January, year and a half ago, I'm like, let me go back on the ice. And I'm like, maybe then one day I can coach these
Yeah.
kids. Maybe I could be Chris. I want to be you when I grow up. So I'm like, maybe I can coach also, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to be on the ice with the boys. It gives me more time because, as you know, our schedules are stupid.
Yeah.
So it gives me more time with the boys and let me be on the ice with them. So I went back, I started to take classes for, like, people who haven't been on the ice for a long time, right? Like, former hockey players.
Yeah.
So I stopped playing when I was 14, 15.
Okay.
So I went back, and you know how they say it's like skating? You go back on and you just remember.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's not like a bike.
It's really not. Like, I'm like, holy shit.
That's it.
Right? I went back on the ice. So, I could only break on my right side. I couldn't break on the left side. It was a whole thing. It took a couple of months. We all started, and then, like, it was a bunch of guys who were like me. So anyways, now it's been a year and a half in. So now we have, like, our own little league.
Yeah.
And I'm having so much fun with this. It's changed my life.
That's what it's about. Sports is about that.
And, I'm with the boys. I could go on the ice with them now and all that. Now, I won't lie to you. I've got a couple of injuries due to this. But it's well worth it.
It's okay.
Right? How often do you play now?
I only play them down to once a week. The aggravation was too much for me. I was just talking with John before he asked me how many times I play. I was playing 3. 2 out of the 3 was in Saint Leonard. And I don't want to hear yelling at the ref. Who's this? No, I'm done. I was done.
Saint Leonard, they're aggressive over there, aren't they?
No comment. But it was just too much yelling. I'm still friends with a lot of them, but I had to take myself out. It was a very toxic environment for myself at 10:30 at night on a Friday night.
Look, it happens, right? I think that...
Plus, in the summertime, it's like at 10:30 at night. It's like you're having a barbecue. Okay, I got to go to hockey now. You're like...
Well, I rented NTR now at 8:30 on Mondays.
Oh, very nice.
Right.
Good
So maybe you could come and
Sure.
destroy us a little bit.
No. I'm not that good.
Yeah, you're pretty good. I saw you on the ice. Are you still coaching?
I am still coaching. I love coaching the little kids because I'm way too competitive and I go crazy. So I took myself out of that completely. I don't think Lakeshore will have me back to coach, period, because I go crazy because I'm too competitive. And then afterwards, because it's being a clown. It's what I do best. I love to joke around. I love to keep them entertained. That's what I love. The minute that you put a score in front of me, I go...
You're really good at it. I have to say, Daniel really loved it when you were his coach. He was a little heartbroken that you were not his coach this year.
I had no choice, and it wasn't not my choosing of the team, sadly.
I know, I understand. I
asked for him, and he goes, unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah, so look, we'll
because
see.
Christian and Daniel are good friends, so that's why they love each other.
Exactly. Like
They
Daniel,
laugh
like
so
I
much
told
on
you
the
the other
ice.
day on the soccer field, right?
They laugh so much together. They're two clowns.
Well, You know, that's a good thing and a bad thing when it comes to hockey.
I had to separate them. Remember, I had to separate them at the end. I couldn't make them do drills. They would just laugh, and it was like two old ladies. It was hysterical.
They were like two old ladies.
It was hysterical.
And you know, in hockey too, like it gets frustrating when you're trying to get your kid to do a drill.
100%.
And they don't want to do the drill.
They do not want to do the drill.
Right, and it's only as a thing. Like with my older one too. Right now, he's quite advanced with hockey. And so, like, he'll do his drill and everything, but then when it comes to the game, this is where he's having a hard time applying it. So we're kind of working on that. But now it's the end of the season where he's doing his spring league, and then we're over.
Make him have fun.
All right.
Zip up the bag, a training or two in the summer, and that's it. You're fine.
That's it. So what are your biggest challenges, right? Or this is actually something I want to know. What are your biggest challenges with regards to, like, your work in the construction field, right? Is it, I know that you have challenges, let's say maybe it's with your trades or whatever, but does this not exist? Does the provincial regulations not limit you?
So my biggest challenge, my biggest upset is the CCQ.
Okay.
This is something.
This is what I want to know.
I'm not saying that they should be abolished, because they do a lot of good for these construction workers. A lot of them don't know they need that to maintain. A lot of them will blow through their money. I'm going to be honest with you. For a good part of it, they will blow through their money. They make a lot of money. They keep the pension. They have the insurance. It's great for them. The CCQ limits us on labor. Okay, because of who we are and the reputation that we have. I'm not saying every job is perfect. I've had a lot of bad jobs also in my time. But because of that, they limit the labor pool. So they only keep like 200,000, I think, workers at a time. And before they bring in new people, it has to fall, I think it's at 5%. Not everybody wants to do asbestos removal. You know how many guys I call that they're excavation guys? That yes, it's the same card to rake gravel, is the same card to do demolition and to do asbestos removal. But those guys that work in excavation in the summer do not want to come to work in the wintertime. So they refuse me.
Is asbestos removal the main, is it 50-50 with that demo and asbestos?
Yeah, it's hand in hand. It's 50-50 for us.
Okay, so really, demo, asbestos,
That's it.
Chris Demari, king of asbestos removal and demolition.
Not king.
Like, I got it. Look, the Quebec government, we need this guy for the Olympic Stadium. I'm just saying, right? So, I don't want to pay $1 billion for a fucking roof.
There's other people, I don't want to even touch that. That's going to be all over the newspaper. I don't even want to touch that. I just want the crumbs, like the big guys.
I want you to touch that.
I just want the crumbs. That's it. I'm happy.
I, as a Montrealer, as a Quebecer, want you to touch this, because if $2 billion turns into $450 million, that's more money in the pockets of the government.
Again, this was a rough estimate. I don't have any plans here. I just want to make sure. I never had any plans. I went on basis of the Journal de Montréal tabloid. That's it.
Let's waste that money. I mean, you want to waste it? Let's waste it on something else. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, my biggest obstacle is the CCQ out of everything. And it's not even, it's just letting me hire who I want to hire. And I'm not even saying let me hire guys with no cards. I'm saying I'll get them their cards.
Right.
I found not a loophole, but I found a solution in the system to bring in my own guys now. And now that they saw that I was doing this, they blocked me. They still have cards. They're still paying CCQ. They're still paying their dues. They're still paying everything. No one wants to do this work. And it's not like I could go on JobBoom or Indeed or say, hey guys, I'm having a hiring blast, hiring 15 people, come try.
Yeah. I
have to wait for a specific time at a specific date that the doors open up, the pool opens up for 24 hours. And then everybody you could bring in whoever you want. You guarantee their cards, their construction cards.
Are you limited on what you pay them?
No, they all get paid the same, which is another thing why the CCQ sucks. Because I have an employee that has 45 years experience that gets paid the exact same wage as somebody that just started in the construction industry. Huh. How is this right?
Yeah, it's not right.
You know what I mean?
How often do those wages go up?
Every year. I think even twice a year, if it's not mistaken. I don't even want to know.
And how much have they gone up over the last 3 years? I want to know this because cost of everything has gone up exponentially. I want to know if it's related to this.
I think it's 5%. I think it's 5% every year that it goes up. They get a raise. I don't know the exact term, but I don't know the exact amount, but I think it's about 5%.
So explain to me something.
Yeah.
Why has the cost...
Again, I'm not against the CCQ. I'm against their hiring policies.
Chris Demari is not against the CCQ.
I just want to make
record.
that for the record. For the record.
All right, for the record.
I am not against the CCQ. I'm just against your policies.
I'm not against the Quebec
government. Is this on?
I'm not against the Quebec government. I'm just against your policies.
That's
That's a wild answer.
It's a what? Chime in here. Chime in. It's okay.
You can. Well, you want to come in, John? Why has the cost of these things gone up so much then if it's just 5% a year?
So again,
I really want to know this.
The labor stayed the same. I can't justify why things went up, especially in the residential sector. They were charging rates that were more expensive. The residential sector doesn't even have to pay the CCQ rates. This is what I don't understand. I have another buddy of mine. This poor guy, I love this guy. Buys a house, gives it full trust in the contractor, says, let's do this time and material. So do you know what time and material is?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 years through, we're talking, and I'm like, how's it going? He's like, oh, it's not going good, man. It's like, and I'm like, what, how did you do this? Like, you have a contract? He goes, no, I did a time material. I go, oh, man, why would you? You wrote him a blank check.
It's a rookie mistake.
You never do anything time and material. You're going to get the worst guys. When somebody's paying time and material, it means that cost is not an option.
Absolutely.
So run up the bill, because you're only
you guys
getting...
hearing this?
Okay, you're only getting... The contractor is making 15% and whatever their wage is. Now in residential, I don't know if majority of your listeners are residential.
Yeah, well, I'm dabbling more and more in commercial now.
Okay, so the contractor is only paying the wages of let's say $30, $35 an hour, charging the client $60, and then charging them a cost plus, and then lying to them saying, listen, it's my cost is $65 because commercial $65. Everybody else is getting charging $65. So him too, he says, I'll charge $65 because it's the market.
Yeah.
So he's making $40 an hour off the guy working. Then he's making another 10 to 15% after that for profit administration. Now, do not ever do anything. When you do something as a contract, it is in the contractor's best interest to get in and get out.
So residential contractors are making more money than commercial contractors?
Listen.
Or their margins?
Just in 3 projects, I could show you that, yes, they're, honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So why not switch to residential?
Because I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to get the call at 10 o'clock. Yeah, Chris, I'm staring here. There's 3 spots of paint, and I see 2 brushes in a corner. I need you to come fix this tomorrow morning now. I don't want that. The guy's going to call me. The architect's going to call me. Listen, you forgot to demo wall. 2 weeks, okay? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I don't want stress. I like to live my life. I'm happy. I go home. After 3:30, my phone doesn't ring anymore.
Yeah, see, this is an issue that I have in my business, right? It rings nonstop.
You work on the weekends.
I work on the weekends.
It's insanity.
I work at nights. I work in the morning. Right?
You're always on the clock.
Yeah, it's a
and you're dealing with people's dreams and stuff. That's why.
Yeah. You gotta make those dreams work. You gotta make those dreams work for the people. Look, I enjoy. That's the aspect of residential. I enjoy the human aspect of the residential side. Obviously, it has its headaches. I'm not going to lie to you. Over the last couple of years, I've been dabbling more and more into commercial. Now, commercial has its own headaches. Like right now, we have an allocation issue with Hydro-Quebec for power that was promised to this company. And now they're not allocating that because they're like, oh, we didn't factor in this allocation because we're giving 30% of our electricity away to New York.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have businesses here pending.
Yeah.
Because the Quebec government has sold 30% of their power to New York. So now I understand they're making more money there. I get it. But we need to fuel the economy here. And it seems to be this zigzag that never ends.
And again, going back to labor, I spoke to one of the reps at the CCQ, and he told me, he goes, we're not opening the labor pool because there's too many people unemployed. There's too many people unemployed. So construction, Monsieur Legault said it throughout the whole thing, is that it's the lifeblood. My grandfather told me this. Construction, like, is the lifeblood of the economy.
Is it a family business? Your family?
No. It's just, he was in construction as well, so it was, you know, it is. He always, if you look at construction, if construction is down, the economy is down. And this is what's happening now. Residential, all of my residential contractors, like, I see them, they're calling me like, it's a bit tough right now, it's quiet. The only people that are working is if you're dealing with high end, that they see the value right now, because they were waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, and they saw this coming.
They forecasted it.
They saw this, so they come. Now they're getting good deals now, especially in residential, because there's a lot of people hurting. There's a lot of people hurting in the residential market.
All right. Okay, fine. We'll wrap it up.
There's 5 minutes left on the recording.
Right.
All right. Spoke a lot.
We'll wrap it. Look, it's been fun. Fine.
The PA podcast brought to you by HomeSense. Live, love, laugh. These are on $5.99.
It was a mistake. I really got to change these. I'm telling you. And now look, I'm going to order a batch, and we're going to remove the live, love, laugh. It was a mistake in judgment.
So that everybody
Please turn it around.
You can't edit that out.
Oh God.
Come on. Yeah.
Who's going to win the Stanley Cup? Well, let's just completely go off topic now.
I think the Stars have it.
Stars?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in between the Rangers.
Rangers, very strong team also.
Yeah, right?
So,
like, if I had to choose a team that's not Canadian, I will choose the Rangers, right? I guess maybe I'm a little biased because there's a Persian player on the Rangers. You know, Zibanejad, who happens to be a phenomenal player.
Thank God you pronounced it correctly, because I call it Zibanejad. So
Zibanejad, all right? So for my Persians who are not into hockey, if you want to get into hockey, we have a Persian player in the NHL.
There you go.
Right? And but that's not the only reason. I mean, I really like New York as a city, and incidentally, why
I love New York.
I would even for my kids, when he wanted to work for a baseball team, I'm like, well, they're the Yankees.
What's that?
Right? Good team. Which, just to tangent this, I don't know if I had spoken about this, but the demolition of the New York Yankees stadium had cost $50 million.
You see?
I'm just putting this in perspective.
But this was how long ago, though, at the same time?
All right. But factor in inflation, all of that.
But again, the labor cost is different. This is what we have to take in. This is what kills us in Quebec. It doesn't kill us, but this is differentiates us.
Everything is expensive because of this, right? And actually, I was reading up that somebody came from New York, actually, one of these Wall Street guys, and he was baffled by the costs in Toronto. So if we are comparable and our revenues are not comparable, there is an issue. There is a fundamental issue, and the economy needs to take a turn. And unfortunately, I don't think that the governments, provincial or federal, are doing anything about it.
So to touch on this a little bit, I just will say that we do work in Ontario as well. Ontario,
oh, you do? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we do work in Ontario as well. So on Ottawa and the GTA. So with this being said, majority of my work is completely opposite there. Majority of it is privatized work there compared to government work. Not the way I wanted it, just that's what the market dictates.
Yeah.
And it's completely different. It's a different animal. It's a different beast. It's there's not that much public work there compared to here. It's insane. Here, it's all public work. It's 90% public work. There, it's 90% private. That just goes to show you, people are investing there. When you cross the border, there's a sign, Toronto, welcome to Ontario, open for business.
Yeah.
They are open for business, sadly.
Well, that's what it is. It's a difference, I think, between our provinces. And let's see where it takes us a year from now after we spend $1 billion on a roof.
So it's here. There's just too many there's too much red tape. There's just too much red tape on everything.
Chris Demari.
Yes, sir.
Demstos, king of commercial construction in Montreal.
Live, love, laugh. Brought to you by HomeSense.
Episode 10 is a wrap.